Hello everyone, my name is Dr. Joel Rosen. I am an adrenal fatigue recovery ninja, and today I want to talk to you about 3 adrenal fatigue strategies. And these adrenal fatigue strategies are things that you can do besides taking adaptogens or DHEA or pregnenolone. And these are really the things that you need to be doing on a day-to-day basis, because predominantly this is what can make huge differences. I just finished up with a Skype consultation with one of my patients who lives across the country. So I get a lot of people who are always asking me, hey, do you know a doctor in Delaware? Do you know a doctor in California? And I say, yes, me. And they say, well, what do you mean? And I say, well, we can talk over the Skype consult and we can do the same thing. So first of all, I wanted to just point out that I had an amazing Skype session with the patient today, and it had to do about how we can have a better impact on what we can do starting today to get an idea as to how we can help our adrenal glands. And the first comes down to Precision Extra. So the Precision Extra, I don't get any benefit or selling for telling you about this machine, but it's called the Precision Extra. And the Precision Extra is like you think it is. It's one of those things where it measures your blood sugar, and you put the strip in the reading, and then you get your blood sugar reading. But the great thing about the Precision Extra is you can also do your ketone readings. So you have 2 readings. You have your ketone readings, and then you have your glucose readings. And so what I want all my patients to do that I work with, I want them to do 2 main readings. I want them to do the reading first thing in the morning with the glucose and the keto meter. And you basically do your blood, measure your ketone readings, and then measure your glucose readings first thing in the morning. In the morning, you like to see your glucose be less than 100 and your ketones being more than 0.4 or above. And if that's the case, then that means that you are effectively starting to burn ketones as a fuel source versus glucose as a fuel source. Then what I like to do is have your first meal, and that's when I'm going to introduce intermittent fasting. And that's a no-no for a lot of people that have adrenal fatigue. They are told you need to have 6 meals very frequently throughout the day because your adrenal glands are not doing a good job. And I disagree 100%. I think that what's happening is that every time you eat a meal, you're causing an insulin surge, and that insulin is already not binding to the membranes on the cell, and that's not allowing fuel to get into the cell, and therefore you get hungry and you feel like you need to eat. But then what happens is you have another meal a couple hours later, you're causing another insulin surge, and then you're having another meal a couple hours later, you're causing another insulin surge. So the question I would have to you is make sure that you actually know what your glucose levels are at. And so even though you're not a diabetic, you need to know, are you having an impact on your glucose when you first wake up in the morning? So when you first wake up in the morning and it's above 110, then it's too high. You're probably eating too much carbohydrates. If you wake up in the morning and it's too low, it's lower than 80, then your adrenals are really tired. You need to have something to eat during the night. So that gives us a lot of information. And then we measure our ketone meters and our readings, and we want to see that be above 0.4. If it's really low, then you're probably not eating enough healthy fats. The next thing I'll tell patients to do is do a reading when you have your first meal, and I typically suggest intermittent fasting. So intermittent fasting means you have your last meal at about, say, 7 o'clock at night, and then you wait 16 hours for your next meal. So that may mean 11 o'clock the next day. And so if you take your reading in the morning and you're less than 100 and you're more than 0.4, and then you take your reading at, say, 11 o'clock just before you have your first meal, you should see your glucose start to fall, and you should see your ketones start to elevate. And if they're not, then that's going to be a huge problem. There's something going wrong there, and I can help you troubleshoot that. What I tell patients is if you don't know what your blood sugar is doing, you don't know how the food is impacting you. For example, I have been taking my blood sugar after a Starbucks coffee in the morning, no cream, no sugar, and my blood sugar spikes above 100. And I hadn't eaten since 7 or 8 o'clock the day before. The reason that is because the artificial, crappy, sprayed, non-organic bean that Starbucks puts out is causing my insulin and my glucose to rise. Had I not taken my blood sugar, I would have had no idea. The next day I had a green tea and my glucose was at 77. So, and my ketones were at zero point 0.8. So definitely something for you to look at is start understanding. The other thing I tell patients is you may wake up in the morning and feel, oh, if I don't eat anything, I'm going to be really, really lightheaded. And you may find that your glucose is above 100 and your body thinks you need food, but there's too much glucose in the blood already. And then you're going ahead and eating food when there's already glucose in the bloodstream. So the other great benefit of taking your glucose throughout the day is realizing, oh my God, I'm not going to faint and die because my blood sugar is so low. Or you may find that your blood sugar is dropping really low, but your ketone levels are high, so you don't necessarily need to eat at that time either. Very, very advanced, knowledgeable stuff that we're talking about, and if you need some help with this, then certainly contact me and I can help you. The other thing I want you to learn about is something called HRV for Training, and that's an app with an iPhone. If you have an iPhone, just go to the iPhone Center and get that app. I don't get any commission on that whatsoever. Basically what it is it's an app. It kind of looks like basically you put your finger over the sensor on the phone, and what that does is it measures your heart rate variability. So let's say you had 60 beats per minute. It doesn't mean that every second you're having a heartbeat. It's like a cadence. It's like it has beep, 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 beep. And the more variable it is, the better it is. And the less variable it is, the worse it is. And how does that make sense? What that basically means is if you're in a fight or flight mode and you're stressed out all the time and you have a lot of inflammation and you're just not sleeping well and you're anxious, then you're under sympathetic dominance. Your heart rate doesn't have a lot of ability to change. It's just constantly stressed. So its variability is going to be very low. Whereas if you're under rest and digest, you're calm, you're in a parasympathetic state, your heart rate can go low, your heart rate can go high, it can go in the middle. You have a lot of variability. And so when you start measuring your baseline of your variability, you're starting to see, oh my goodness, I did something that caused my variability to go up. That's good. Maybe I exercised, or maybe I didn't eat as much carbs the day before, or maybe I, had a great day at work. Or when you set your variability go down, you may say, oh my goodness, that's the day that I had a pizza, or that's the day that my boss told me something. And you could start to put two and two together. Where the advanced strategies come in is when you start looking at your glucose and your ketones and your heart rate variability. So this was really an advanced lesson that I wanted to tell you today. If you need more questions answered, please ask me questions. Go check me out on my Facebook fan page. Check me out on my blog called adrenalfatiguesociety.com, and certainly give me a share, a comment, a like, or a question, and I'll be happy to help you. My name is Dr. Joel Rosen. I'm an adrenal fatigue recovery ninja. I look forward to helping you with your adrenal fatigue nightmare, and I work with patients from across the country and across the world, actually. So look forward to helping you in your adrenal fatigue recovery. Thank you so much.